All right, everybody, welcome. This is my first 5 minute interview with a think tank graduate. This is Alex Agredo. Alex, tell us what you were doing before you came to think tank.
Well, I was studying multimedia engineer and I graduated as a multimedia engineer.
Fantastic. I know you did some research before you joined think tank. Tell us about how you came to the conclusion that think tank was the right school for you.
Well, I actually compared like the top 10 or top 20 schools in the rookies back in 2022, and I had a lot of parameters for them, and I just started comparing the price, the courses, the quality of the portfolios. And after doing a whole comparison that took me like 2 weeks, the best school was think time. It was the most cost effective, but also the one that had good quality. So I chose think time because of that.
Awesome. Cool. So you went into the program. Program is hard. Like, it's just, we all know it's a crazy program, right? Because you're smashing like 5 years of university into like 16 months and it's all 3D all the time. What was the hardest part of the program for you?
Oh wow. Well, the hardest part, if we're talking in terms of time or like the section, I would say intermediate.
Yeah.
Intermediate was the
Term two.
hardest for
Yeah.
me. Term two, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you start focusing a lot more on your path, but also the intensity starts to get harder. And it's like relearning everything from scratch, if you will say,
Yeah.
because you need to do these new things.
Mhm.
And that was the hardest part for me, intermediate.
Okay. So let's take that hardest part a little bit bigger. Was there
Uh-huh.
anything like from an emotional standpoint, like just workload, anything like that? Other people
Yeah,
that you were around, like
from the mental state, it was hard to fight that imposter syndrome because what happens to a lot of us artists is that we tend to compare a lot with other people, and that was a problem that I had. And I saw these really awesome projects that from other people were posting, and I started comparing myself and saying that I wasn't good, that my work wasn't worth it. And what sometimes we don't think is that those people maybe had some more experience than us before. We don't know their background, we don't know anything. And the only truly comparison that you have to do is with yourself and seeing your progress. I
yeah,
know it's easy to say it, but it's hard to apply it sometimes.
yeah,
So I would say that. And the second thing will be taking care of yourself, like also putting the hours in, but also knowing when to rest. That was one of the hardest things for me to learn because you can also burn out.
fair enough. That's so true, man. Okay, what was your turning point? Like, when did you like? I know, like, you have a dream and you do the research. You come to think tank, you go through the imposter syndrome. It's hard, all these kind of things. Was there a turning point for you where you're like, yeah, I know I can do this?
Yes. It was back in intermediate when I feel like I was really close to burning out because a lot of things were going on in my life, not only academically, but also like from a financial standpoint, I had like some issues with my family and they were really supportive, but I almost had to quit during that time. And that's why I say that you don't get great things just by yourself. You need to have the right amount of people or the right people supporting you. And I was lucky enough that my family, my girlfriend, but also think tank supported me. I reached out to John, to you, and to think tank, and they were super helpful. They helped me a lot, not only financially but also supporting me and hearing me out, which is pretty important. And not every school does that, to be honest. And with that support that I felt that I was gonna do it to show you guys that believing in me it was worth it, and also like being grateful because even though I was going through a hard moment, you guys chose to believe in me, and for me that meant the world. And I also tried to show that to my family and my girlfriend, and that was the turning point for me. Just being able to uh, keep going, and keep that's the tip. Just keep going. Keep
I
putting the
remember
effort.
those two calls.
Yeah.
That one where you're like, I gotta quit, and we had a moment where we like pulled the problem apart, and then we came back together like a day or two later, and we came up with a solution. And I remember the look on your face the first time, and the look on your face the second time.
Yeah.
And it was,
I
anyways,
remember.
it was so heartwarming, man. Okay, so next question here is, how long did it take you to complete the portfolio project that you did that got you your job?
Okay, so my actual portfolio project took me a little bit longer that the program appears
Yeah,
because I wanted it to be a wow moment. I wanted it to be really polished portfolio, and that took me 10 months.
10 months. Okay, so
Yeah.
a lot of students have that same type of experience, right? Here, I'm just going to do a
Hmm.
quick screen share. This is Alex's project on ArtStation. If you want to look at this stuff, just look up Alexander Agredo on ArtStation, and this piece is just fantastic.
Thank
Even
you.
though our final term, where students work one-on-one with an industry mentor that they choose for 4 months on a project, a lot of students are going to take a month or two after graduation, and in Alex's case, more than that, to really polish it. But that's the game changer, right? And so
Yes.
um, that's wicked. Okay, how did you?
I
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
just something real quick. I want to give a huge shout out to my mentor, which is Alexander Danilovac. He was really supportive and he was still communicating with me, giving me tips even after I finished my, the timing think tank.
Yeah,
Thanks to him, I was able to get this result.
that's killer. So Alexander, you works with Alexander Danilovac, who's a mentor at Think Tank. How did you find your first job, Alex?
Well, there comes the other Alex. No, well, after I finished this piece, it was a hard time in the industry, so I had to go back and work in a Five Below during like for 7 months, 6 months.
Yeah,
During that time, I still talk with Alex Danilovac, and we were just chatting, about life. Hey, how's it going? I wanted to do even another like quick mentorship with him, but um after that, he just told me that they were hiring in inXile, and he recommended me. So that's how I got into inXile.
that's awesome, man. Those connections, like
Yeah.
you work with that guy for like 10 months, well, the 4 months that you're in school, and then you built that relationship, and then boom, there's an opportunity at his company, and he's had now, I think six think tank grads
Yes.
over the last year.
Yeah. Right now we have, I think, seven from Think Tank. Well, yeah. Overall in Think Tank, we're seven in inXile.
That's so cool. One of the
Yeah.
other ones told me that Alexander, your mentor, actually started like a think tank channel internally there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
We
so
just
rad.
talk shit in there.
That's so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
my last question, and this is I think one of the most important ones. If you were going to give anybody who's considering going into this industry, getting education to become an environment artist in games or go into 3D art for film or whatever it might be, if you were going to give them a piece of advice, what would you say?
That's always a hard question because there's so much things, but I would say two main things. The first one and most important, take care of yourself. That was also a turning point for me. Getting to learn about yourself and how do you manage to be the most productive, and don't comparing that with others because the process that someone else has to be most productive is maybe not the same for you. So learn about yourself and how are you most productive in a daily basis. So if you need to take a break, take it and then put the hours in. And the second thing I will say is, um, like I said, this is a industry that needs a lot of discipline, a lot of just keep going, keep trying, and also don't just do what they told you to do in an assignment or whatever, do more. So if they ask you to do 100% of something, do 110% and go for the difficult challenges. Of course, not something that is beyond the scope, but do something that is difficult, especially in your learning time, because that will make you a better student and a better hiring choice.
Dude, I love that. I love that. I'm going to put those in my own words. I always tell people bite off just a little bit more than you can chew,
Yeah.
because that's where you push yourself, right? Alex, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you. There's no chance that we could have done that in 5 minutes, but this was perfect. Thank you so much, my friend.
No, no problem, man. Thank you so much for having me.